What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people, and I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self-care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now, and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. It is D-Day. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What up, friends and family? I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for continuing to rock with me. It is an interesting day. Who's anxious? Who's excited? Who's absolutely positively excited at what is about to happen today? I think that we are about to make history. I do. I think that we are about to make history. We're going to make history one way or another, that's for sure. Either we're going to make history on the bad side or we're going to make history on the good side. I see Mr. Undisputed said he just voted. Okay, all right, all right. We got to match the likes today, that's for sure. So your barrier to entry today into the Millionaire Morning Show is a like for the algorithm. I had to make sure that I got a sufficient amount of sleep today or last night, especially after last night's show. Last night's show was absolutely awesome. Can we get some love for Q? Can we get a like in here for Q for putting together that awesome, excellent panel? I'm telling you, man, I got the most awesome, dopest people that work with me. Not work for me, work with me. I mean, Jesus. I think that last night might have been our best show ever. Last night might have been our best show ever. You excited? I'm excited also. Last night might have been our best show ever. Can we get a round of applause for my girl, Island Gal Q? That girl be doing her thing behind the scenes. She was proactive. Q had hit me up before I even went live on the Millionaire Morning Show yesterday and said, hey, listen, A, B, C, and D, this is what we doing. I said, okay, all right, I like that, I like that. So, yes, 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 Q has definitely earned her Christmas gift this year. She has definitely earned her Christmas gift. She already take all of my money anyway, so shout out to Q and all of the ladies that take all the Time Dog's money. Everybody that take my money is almost women. That's an interesting dynamic. Anyways, y'all make sure y'all show Q some love and make sure y'all subscribing to her channel also and follow her on all of the social media platforms. If the ladies or anybody is trying to get in touch with her, you can get in touch with her on Instagram. I do not pick the panel. I do not come up with the subjects. That is all her. So shout out to her. Shout out to all of that. Look at her trying to be, I don't need no gift. Yeah, that's nice. I don't even listen to her on that type of stuff. What up, y'all? It is Tuesday, November 5th, 2024, year of our Lord. We are going to be live pretty much all day, not just on this panel. So we're going to do the regular Millionaire Morning Show, and then I might go live sporadically. I need to see what's happening and what the vibes is, so I'll be tapping in. I don't know if I'm going to just drop the video, do the video and drop it for y'all, or go live or whatever, but we're definitely going to be on After Hours tonight. It's up in the air on what's going to happen on the Anton Daniels channel, but I definitely cleared my schedule. The only thing that matters is the election today. Only thing that matters is the election today, all right? I was out in the streets. I wore my MAGA hat yesterday to the game, courtside. We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about the migrants. They waiting to get into the country and trying to figure out what's going on with the election. It's a lot of cities that's going broke. It's a lot of cities, a lot of states that's going broke. We're going to get into that. Tulsi Gabbard, she had some things that she wanted to say to Mark Cuban. Megyn Kelly, Joe Rogan, all of them endorse Trump. It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. So we may pivot here and there. We may pay attention to what's going on here. We might flip over to here. The Philadelphia DA said, F around and find out. We gonna get there. We gonna get there. So we got a lot to cover. I hope y'all ready to get it in. Some people called off of work today. Some people already voted. Have y'all voted? That's the question that I want to know. You are informed. You've been rocking with me for a long time. You've been having a conversation with me for a long time. The question then becomes, have you exercised your right to vote? Because if it is not up to you, it's going to be up to somebody else. And that's not only with the national election, it's also with the local elections. You know how I feel about it. We got to get into it. It's a long show, and we got to get a quick hits also. So let me go ahead and read these super chats. First, let me do some housekeeping. Shout out to Tiege Hanley. 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. It's a phenomenal product. Get it. Don't wait for it. Anton Daniels absolutely endorses it. And when I endorse it, you know I use it. All right. Molly. Shout out to Molly all up in the building. Let me shout out to Molly. Molly is so dope. We're going to give Molly that 360 deal. We're going to get her on board permanently. Going into 2025, I'm going to work out that details. Q. Work with Molly. Get the terms, come back to me. Let's figure it out. We got to make sure that we put her on the payroll. Mike That Dude, shout out to Mike That Dude, ESDC. What up, though? Div Group, Warren Wilson, Spencer Campbell, everybody that's on Cash App. Shout out to y'all. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. Tell Molly, get Q, Molly, work together, get them terms, and make sure y'all get it over to me ASAP. We got a new studio. We got a new setup going into 2025. We're going to be working on that, so I need you to get it together, baby girl. Alex Oubre. What up, Alex? What up, big dog? Says, how was the game yesterday? Detroit looking better this year. They trying to get me to sign up. They trying to get me to get my season tickets back. I don't know. I'm going to talk about that. I'm about to talk about that right after Quick Hits. Happy Election Day. Shout out to my dog, Alex. I appreciate you, big dog. Lee Barton. What up, Lee? Lee says, I would love for you to debate Butter Biscuits, Roland Martin. You know he ain't ever going to face me. And none of these people going to ever face me. Is MAGA 2024 says Eric Wealth Harris. What up, what up, what up? A.R. Smitty in the building says, put in my vote for Donald Jerome Trump this morning. Let's make America great again. Eric Wealth says, give Q a raise. Last night, Q already stealing all of my money. How much more money y'all want me to take? Give her. Last night was the best Monday show, and I'm not even a Monday night show fan. Y'all better become a fan. Go watch it. Go rewatch it. V. Nicole. What up, B? Says it's already done in Jesus' name. Hallelujah. Where two or three are gathered in his name, there he is in the midst of the Q show was amazing. It was awesome to see so many intelligent, conservative thinking women in one space. And here's the thing. It wasn't an echo chamber. They all had differences of opinions, come from different backgrounds, different professions, and it was respectful. And that's what I like to see from my ladies. I knew y'all can do it. I knew that we can find some women that know how to communicate effectively, even if they don't agree. Even if they don't agree, to communicate effectively and to meet each other's feminine energy and then have a conducive conversation. I thought it was awesome. It was different people from different sides. And because they was in their femininity, it just gave me this calmness that I was able to enjoy, ask questions, interact, insert a little bit. I didn't even have to talk that much. They was just over there cooking. I said, look at these awesome women that is doing what they do that Q put together. I said, look at God. Look at God. I know they can do it. That's how I know y'all can do it. I know y'all can get yourselves together and put it together. Over there talking all of that good talk and then thinking that I'm not going to pay attention to it. Shout out to you, V. Nicole. Keyshawn White says, old man came up to me and said, vote correctly. Vote correctly. You know what I'm saying? Yes, Trump 2024 in the building. I am Annie Marie says, I got that super sticker for you. What up, Annie? Marilyn Barber says, what up, what up, what up? I voted at 6 a.m. this morning. No identity politics here. No identity politics. We voting for the best candidate. Skip Bayless just endorsed Trump is crazy. My liberal family is pissed at me because I voted for the Orange Man. Shout out to the Orange Man, East Coast kid. We got to get it in. We got to get there. Sign Ava as well. Y'all say Ava need that 360? Okay, we're going to get Ava that 360 and see what's happening. We're going to get Q on it, see what her schedule like, and we're going to talk about it. 2025 going to be a big year for the Anton Daniels channel. And for us as a community, for the collection plate on my way to vote as I listen to the show, shout out to y'all. Listen, do not be discouraged. Get in line, wait, and let's make America great again. We taking America back today, baby. MAGA, I'm feeling nervous. Don't pray and worry. Don't pray and worry. We got to go ahead and do what we do. We're not nervous. We confident. Understand, when you pray and when you do what you're supposed to do, you say, let your will be done. Not my will, but thy will. Remove self. Up with Jesus, and we're going to let his will be done. As long as you're praying in Jesus' name, you meeting expectations, you doing the work, you got the faith of a mustard seed, and you do what you got to do, don't pray and worry. Don't pray and worry. All right, y'all ready to get started with the show? Listen, before you understand what's going on, I need you to understand that this is the greatest morning show on the face of the earth. I do not look at you as fans. I look at you as friends. All right? Shout out to all of the new bag chasers. If you're not a part of the Patreon, the link is in the description, as well as pinned to the top of the chat. The best day to join the Patreon is the beginning of the month. We had a lot of people that signed up yesterday. It was crazy. It was out of control. I would like for you to join in with a group of people that's going in the direction that you're going in. We got a live stream this weekend. We got an exclusive video this week. Stock Club is coming up, and we got meetups coming all next year. In addition to that, make sure you get your tickets to come and kick it with me in Detroit December 14th. It's going to be awesome. I might even have a little bit of an after party on my rooftop in my building. We'll talk about that, all right? Y'all ready? Y'all ready? All right, let's get to it. Make sure y'all hit a like. Send this to all of your friends and family. That's your reasonable service. Your admission into this stream today is 1, a like for the algorithm. If you've been here more than one time, 2, subscribe to the channel and make sure you turn on your notifications. There's no reason for you not to. And then number 3, send this to a couple of your friends and family members, helping them to understand that we're going to get them off of the plantation and we're going to drive them forward along with us. All right, let's get to it. First things first is quick hits. Man, I'm excited to be back in the studio. You know what I'm saying? They had me working from home. They had fire alarms and all of that. Ain't nothing like being back in the studio. I'm going to read them super chats shortly. Quick hits, ladies and gentlemen. Quick hits is a segment of the show that we don't necessarily think that we need to dedicate an entire segment to it, but we definitely want to keep y'all in the loop on what's going on in these streets, all right? First things first, Russia is suspected of a bombing plot through cargo planes. Check it out.
An alleged Russian plot to send explosive devices on planes to the U.S. Our transportation correspondent, Gio Benitez, has that story for us. Good morning, Gio.
Hey, Robin, good morning. Yeah, ABC News confirming this report overnight, and it is shocking. This absolutely could have brought down planes. 2 of those devices ignited at DHL facilities.
This morning, a multinational investigation underway to track down the culprits of an alleged Russian plot to send explosive devices aboard U.S. and Canada-bound planes, first reported by the Wall Street Journal. UK authorities saying devices ignited back in July at 2 separate DHL cargo hubs, one in Leipzig, Germany, the other in Birmingham, England.
There's a real question here whether this was an intentional act by the Russian intelligence to bring down an airplane or to test ability to get an incendiary device onto airplanes, or did they just want to scare the Western public?
Officials believe it's part of a wider plot where Russia schemed to send the incendiary devices through a commercial carrier on planes that would potentially end up in the United States. According to the Journal, one of the suspects seen here at a DHL in Vilnius, Lithuania, arrested for allegedly sending 4 devices to the UK.
The problem is that these packages were very, very small, but even a small amount of burning magnesium can bring down a whole airplane.
Authorities in Poland arrested and charged 4 people in connection with the explosions. The TSA increasing security in recent months for certain cargo shipments.
If an airplane were brought down over the North Atlantic under suspicious circumstances, that all commercial aviation would be grounded immediately around the world for a long period of time.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going for it. I don't think that this is a Russian plot at all. I got to give y'all the news and give y'all updates to let y'all know what's going on. But I'm not going for it. I need more evidence. We don't believe you. You need more people. I'm just not going. It just doesn't make sense to me personally. Let me continue on with the show. In addition to that, at the game yesterday, I had a lot of police officers. I'm friends with every single police officer. I had a lot of police officers. Shout out to the Wayne County Sheriff's Office. Shout out to all of the Detroit police. Shout out to the Chicago police. Shout out to police officers nationwide. And one of the things they expressed to me, they said, Anton, we appreciate you. Because I have an affinity for police officers that goes beyond our military. For me, police officers, and it doesn't diminish what our military is and what they do, but police officers are on the front lines. Those are the first people that you call in most instances when you have a domestic dispute, a crime that is taking place, somebody needs to be saved. The first thing you do is you reach out to the police by default, by instinct. These guys put their lives on the line every single day. And I always hear about people saying that, oh my God, it's the police brutality. No, I'm telling you statistically that police officers are maimed, killed, and injured in the line of duty on a regular basis trying to serve the general public. And most of them come from your own neighborhoods. Most of them grew up in your neighborhoods. Most of them are villainized because of the badge that they wear and the uniform that they got on. But most of them are our fathers, our uncles, sometimes now your aunties and your girlfriends. And so y'all got to start showing more respect to police officers because another one was killed in Chicago. Check it out.
Breaking news, a Chicago police officer shot and killed in the line of duty. From what we're hearing, dozens of police officers are gathered outside of University of Chicago Medical Center right now.
And our Brona Tumulty is there right now, where we are expecting a news conference to get underway shortly. Brona?
Good evening, guys. Yeah, very, very sad news indeed tonight. We're still waiting on a press conference from Superintendent Larry Snelling. Still a very fluid situation out here, as you can imagine. Sources telling us tonight the officer killed is in his mid-20s and has been with the department a few short years. We do have a name for the officer. We're not going to say it right now out of respect for his family, and we're still waiting on public confirmation of that name from CPD. All of this started around 8 o'clock this evening in the Chatham neighbourhood, near the intersection of 84th and South Ingleside. We do understand from sources that possibly 2 suspects are in custody. We are waiting for more information from CPD about what led up to this entire incident. The alarm, of course, raised immediately over police radios.
4 South Ingleside, 8024 South Ingleside. PO's been shot. 8204. I got an officer shot. Officer down. Anybody who's not there yet, if you can start blocking off Cottage, we're going to want to get her to UFC as quick as possible.
Now, there has been a massive police presence here over the last couple of hours. Dozens upon dozens of officers on scene. Several of the roads around the hospital are closed off to through traffic. Emergency vehicles, of course, still able to get through. We did have a crew over at the scene where this shooting happened, and we do understand that a witness spoke with WGN a short time ago. Take a listen.
I live in the neighborhood. I was just in my house, and I heard the police just driving down our block real fast, and so I just came out to see what was going on.
Now, we do understand that press conference is going to happen imminently. We're going to move over to where it is set to begin. We will bring you updates, of course, online and on air as we get them.
It's unfortunate, man. It's very unfortunate that people die in the line of duty and you have people being disrespectful to their families. Y'all don't even be knowing these people sometimes. I mean, I don't know how we can devalue human life so much to where y'all would be okay and excited. Not y'all in the chat, but we got a little struggle streamers, a couple little struggle buses that's in here that will say, yeah, man, get the police and get that. I don't even know how to deal with that. I don't even know how to address that. I don't even know if it's worth it for me to address such ignorance of people thinking that it's okay to take out anybody, let alone police officers. Honestly, is so sad. And we don't have an administration that's in office right now, both locally in Chicago or nationally inside of the White House, that supports police officers. And it's sad. We've become so liberal and so confused and so easily marketed to that how can you disrespect police officers? I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I just want to let y'all know that Anton stand on business no matter what. I don't care what the community say. I don't care how these people are easily marketed to as far as going against police officers. I genuinely love y'all, all right? And then last but not least, the Teamsters is filing a lawsuit against Pepsi in Chicago for abruptly closing a plant. Check it out.
PepsiCo now faces a union lawsuit over the abrupt closure of its Southside plant. Teamsters Local 727 filing the lawsuit in federal court claiming the company unlawfully shut down.
Somebody says, hold on, let me address this. Somebody says all cops is not good cops and all black people ain't good black people. But do I demean all of them? Do I throw them all away? All humans ain't good. All men ain't good. All women ain't good. All nothing ain't good. So what? Grow the fuck up. Grow up. Be an adult. Take the goddamn chain off your neck and grow the fuck up, bro. Y'all too old and too black to keep talking like this. Too poor. Too destitute. Your neighborhoods is destroyed. Y'all keep running away from the place that you live in because y'all can't get your lives together. If it wasn't no crime to stop, then you wouldn't have to worry about no police officers showing up. You say free young thug and then say all cops ain't good. Grow up. Y'all too old. You's an old man still talking about police officers. What are you doing with your life? You know what I'm saying? What is wrong with y'all? What is wrong with y'all? You still doing crime, dog? You still worried about getting stopped by the police doing this? Pulling your seatbelt over, you ain't got your license, registration, and insurance right? You still worried about the police? Let me tell you something. The police don't care nothing about you. They ain't thinking about you. They trying to go home. They trying to go home, dog. Think they care about you? They trying to stay up out the way. Then y'all get mad when they don't want to respond to y'all raggedy selves in y'all little busted neighborhoods. Dusty? They got to walk in your house with your domestic dispute because you can't get along with your girlfriend. Jesus, what is wrong with y'all? Grow up. Grow up, dog. And put a shirt on. Stop having a white beater on in your profile pic. That's how I know these niggas be dusty, man. Get that white beater off your profile pic, bro. No, you got to show your chain and your BDBs, and then you don't want to get profiled. I'm profiling you right now. Man, all cops ain't good cops. Your friends ain't good friends. Now what? Means the dude deserve to die? Jesus. Good God. What's wrong with y'all? Back to the show. Pepsi, Teamsters, lawsuit. Jesus.
PepsiCo now faces a union lawsuit over the abrupt closure of its Southside plant. Teamsters Local 727 filing the lawsuit in federal court claiming the company unlawfully shut down the facility by violating the WARN Act. Now the plant at 51st.
All these girls don't like, man, these black women can't get their lives together. You on your profile pic like this. And now you see why they don't want you. Okay, so I told you the truth. Change your shirt, put a collared shirt on, stop smoking so much weed so your lips ain't black. You ain't got to worry about whether or not you're getting pulled over and given a ticket and citation so that you don't kill somebody driving under the influence.
First and Low is in the back of the yards neighborhood, closed without warning last week. PepsiCo says it is complying.
And don't get mad at me for telling you the truth. I told you the thing that your daddy didn't tell you. I'm going to tell you the thing that your daddy didn't tell you. You still walking around carrying illegally. Hey, man, if these cops, man, ain't you tired? Ain't y'all? Listen, being dusty is the most tiresome job in the world. When you wake up dusty, you are stressed. You are waking up trying to figure out why life is treating you bad. Why don't society love me? Why am I only liked? And why do I got to make an adjustment every time that I go into society and I start to think differently? You know what I'm saying? Do y'all realize how weird you are if you dusty and you got a dusty mentality? Don't you realize you limit yourself based off of the opportunities that's presented to you? Don't you realize that nobody wants to be around people that smell like shit all the time? Don't y'all know that it's very difficult for you to find a woman that is probably meant for you because you refuse to get your life together and your mentality is a reflection of how it is that you live your life? Don't you know it's much easier on this side when you're not dusty? Let's talk about it for a minute. Let's get into it. All right? Forget this. Quick hits is over. We done with quick hits for the day. No more quick hits. Let's talk about it for a minute. Yesterday, I pull up to the game in my MAGA hat. I'm out here in these streets, right? So I go to the game. I'm at the Lakers game, probably the biggest game in the city. You know what I'm saying? I pull up, making America great again. And I'll show you exactly. I don't even care about the game itself. Pistons won, nice. But I'll show you where I was sitting, right? Seen all of that, blah, 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 blah. Just spot checking, just to see where it's at. Where we at? So, if you look over there where the coach is standing, where it says Michigan first, right up there at the top where it says Michigan first, you can see that red hat. It's a bright red hat right there next to the coach. Is me, is Rita, is some friends and family or whatever, so on and so forth. But right there at the top of the key, right there where the Pistons, where the Platinum Equity, left or right over to the Bet Rivers, Michigan first, right there, Anton is right there at the top of the key, right? So I wear my MAGA hat to the thing, and the first thing that people start asking me is, man, how did you get in with a MAGA hat? So you telling me that Make America Great Again, people are concerned about something that says Make America Great Again. I'm going to tell you how backward society is today, okay? People are literally like, man, you got some courage to wear that. I can't believe that you was even able to get inside of the arena. And I'm thinking to myself, because I don't operate on the same frequency as everybody else, right? I'm operating on the same frequency of the foundation of the Constitution because we are in a republic. Understand this. This is a republic. I know that y'all didn't take civics. I know that people don't really understand what we living in. I know that we are court of public opinion, identity politics. You gonna go based off of some misinformation that somebody told you online. But I'm gonna tell you the truth. We live in a republic. We are governed by the Constitution, not based off of majority rules. Let me say it again for the people in the back. You may not know this, but I'm going to educate you today. We are governed ultimately by the Constitution, not majority rules. So you may think that you live in a democracy, but in reality, the core of who we are is based off of the Constitution. So you're telling me that I'm supposed to be afraid of other human beings that bleed like me because I have a Make America Great Again hat on? Get the hell out of here. You gotta be kidding me. But let me help you to understand exactly what my experience was. So I'm chilling. I'm having a good time. I'm rolling in. I'm getting to it. I'm hugging everybody. They hugging me. We having good energy. You know, the first person that questioned my hat. Now, of course, I know that people are staring at me, but I'm Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I'm the same person that walks in a crowd of people with a camera vlogging, talking loud, and don't care nothing about what nobody thinks. I'm the same person as I was in high school. I walked around with the utmost of confidence. I care nothing about what nobody thinks. I am me, and everybody has to move around me and I don't adjust to my environment, the environment adjusts to me. That has been my mentality since the day I was born. That is my mentality today as a 42-year-old man, and nothing has changed. My life is awesome. The world revolves around me. That's the way I see it, because I know that I'm right. And when you know that you're right, you operate in confidence. When you know that you got God on your side, you don't worry about what the world thinks. Why would I be concerned? People are hitting me up and saying, man, you ain't scared of what people gonna think. I got the Holy Ghost. I got the Holy Ghost. I'm on the right side of history. Regardless of what happens in the election, I got the Holy Ghost and I'm on the right side of history. Meaning that God is on my side. He sent the comforter and he gave me my agenda and he told me what to do. So if I care about what God thinks, what would I care about what will man think? And that's why I don't understand these Christians. I don't understand people that care so much, because the loudest ones in the room is usually the ones that's demonic. And they bully people to doing what they want to do. But when did we start being so quiet when God said that if we persecuted for righteousness' sake? When did we start being so quiet? Why do I care about what other people think? And the first person that says something to me is somebody that I know. Somebody that I've been interacting with outside of, run into them. They done had courtside seats right along with me. And he said, oh man, I can't believe you, Anton. Oh, dog. I said, dog, you watch my podcast. You know where I stand at. What you acting crazy for? Yeah, but you got the hat on today, man. Somebody come and tell him. And I was looking around. I said, who gonna tell me? Who gonna tell me? Security love me. Police love me. They all right here. They all just hugged me and said, and they whispered in my ear. And here's the key. They whisper in your ear. The ones that actually believe in what you believe in, but they don't want to actually say it out loud because they're afraid of being ostracized or they're afraid of being criticized. They give you that. They give you a hug and say, yeah, man. Yeah, me too, man. I'm going to vote for Trump. And then they adapt around the rest of y'all. You don't even know that the majority of the people, they got conservative views just like me. I'm just the one that's loud enough to say it. And I'm the one the most confident. And you know what? Right after that, I got little kids, Chaldean kids, Arabic kids, and white kids running up to me. Oh my God, I love your hat. I ain't have to worry about no black kids coming up to me. You know why? Because none of them was able to get in the players club because their parents couldn't afford to be there. So all of the ones that's criticizing me are the ones that just so happen to get their tickets given to them, and the ones that really celebrate what I got going on can afford to be there. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? I'm telling you, it is the weirdest thing ever. Let me help you to understand something, bro. I sat there and I met some of the most prominent people that were visiting and that were core people in the city. And we exchanged information, we exchanged phone numbers, and I'm not even going to say who their name is or what their position is because I'm not trying to put them out there like that. Good people, doing business, and also they got my back and they going to make sure that I'm protected. I mean, it was crazy. The amount of love that you get when you operate in the confidence of God is amazing. It's amazing. But here's the other part about it. So I'm sitting there, and it's halftime, and the game has started, and I compliment this woman's boots that's sitting next to me, and Rita's right across the table, and there's two black women over to my right-hand side, right? And so the one woman then says, she's staring. First, I give her a compliment. Oh, my God, thank you. Hey, where'd you get these from? Mr. B's. You know who you are. You know who you are. I know you watch the show. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you. I'm going to tell on you today. I ain't going to tell them your name because I don't know your name, but I would tell them your name if I knew your name because I need you to be coming to the front of the congregation. So this little tackhead black woman is sitting there next to me. Why you got that hat on? And then she says it under her breath, sell out. I ain't say nothing. But just a minute before when I was complimenting her boots, she told me that one of her friends that worked with her got her friend to be able to give him some tickets because he wasn't going to be in town for that night. So she just so happened to get in the Players Club because she got somebody else's tickets. Tackhead. Cool, I ain't tripping about that. You got somebody else's tickets. And called me a sellout under her breath. I said, say it out loud with your chest. I just don't understand. That's what she said. I don't understand. I just don't understand why you would vote for him. I said, why wouldn't I vote for him? Well, he got all of these charges against him. Honest to God on everything on my daughter's life. I said this. This is what I said to her. I said, tell me about the charges. What was the charges? I mean, they out there. I could look them up. I said, no, tell me about them. Tell me about the charges. What is it that he got charged with, and what do you disagree with? What do you think he should be convicted for? I mean, he got him. I said, you can't, in my mind, I said, you can't be this slow. I said, but this is gonna be hilarious. So Rita's sitting there like, she already know what's about to happen. So I says, what is it that you don't agree with? I mean, what about Project 2025? I said, you know that's not of him, right? What the media said it was of him. I'm telling you word for word what happens. I said, okay, a lot of misinformation. What else don't you agree with? I mean, he trying to get police immunity to come and kill us. What if he take over the government and then he just completely makes himself king? Do you know, I mean, this woman had to be in her upper 40s, at least 40 something. You know the profile, possibly diabetic, fupas, bad skin, lips black, nice shoes though, nice shoes. The question that then comes to my mind often at these times is, do you waste your time and throw your pearls to swine? Because if I don't have the camera on, then that means that I can't really capture it, so I can't really profit from it. And so if it's not beneficial to me, and I know that people are going to be the way that they're going to be regardless, then should I waste my time? That's the dilemma. The dilemma that I go through on a regular basis when I get into these conversations with my black of the black on the black hand side people is, do I waste my time? And so I make a small attempt to educate her. I said, did you know the police immunity thing is just a talking point. It doesn't absolve the police officers from being held accountable for the things that they do outside of their training and the manual within their department. And so if they didn't do it, then they're not immune to their personal assets being gone after and for them to be held accountable for their actions if they unjustly do something to somebody and it's against the law. But if you operate within the police manual and so on and so forth, naturally you should be protected, especially personally, from the things that you do in your job, similar to if you was a tax accountant or if you was a lawyer, right? And you create a business in order to protect your personal assets from it. But it doesn't absolve you from being held accountable for your actions. You know what that's mean, right? If you actually understood the law here, let me show it to you, and I started to pull it out. I don't even care. I just don't like him. I said, Rita said, Anton, don't even waste your time. In order to wear that hat, you must be rich. That was her final thoughts. Her final moment was, in order to wear that hat, you must got a lot of money. You must be rich. I don't even entertain it. I just walked away. I said, that's why you ain't got no ring on your finger. She said, oh! And I just got up and walked away. That's why you ain't got no ring on your finger. Let's go, Rita. Rita started cracking up. She thought that was the funniest thing ever. That's why you ain't got no ring on your finger. Masculine and wrong. Loud, wrong, and masculine. Loud, wrong, and masculine. And this is what I experience from the community on a regular basis. This is what I experience from the community on a regular basis. They don't respect me, they disrespect themselves. They don't respect me, they disrespect themselves. I'm not tripping off y'all no more, man. Listen, dog, you gonna bust hell wide open with your views and your lifestyle. I'm not trying to impress the devil, and that's the part that y'all gotta understand. The reason that I walk with so much confidence is because I know when people is hellbound when they are. It would be better for you to get on my team than to get on the other team. You on the wrong side. Forget being on the wrong side of history. You on the wrong side of life. You on the wrong side of life. Listen, us as a culture and as a community, we've had more freedom than we've ever had in our entire life, but we dustier than we ever been. Not me personally, but as a culture and as a community. Our entertainers are the only ones that's going to jail for trying to kill people. We always advocate against safety in our own communities and neighborhoods. We celebrate drug dealers. We align ourselves with a party that wants us to actually decrease our own population by leveraging killing unwanted babies as a form of contraception. At this point, you'd be hard-pressed to find a woman that's a part of the community that did not execute an unwanted pregnancy and then justified it and then allow for sassy men on the pulpit to then let women that's not even supposed to be in the pulpit, such as Kamala Harris, wear a pride shirt and then jump on the pulpit and tell you to vote for her and then talk about her faith without even acknowledging Jesus. Where we do that at? We used to have some level of couth, some level of respect for ourselves. If you don't respect me, at least make somebody respect you. Look, you can't disrespect God. Now, I might not have got my life all the way together, but you ain't going to come in here and talk that nonsense in here. But we just completely lost all kind of moral compass. We can do whatever you want to do, sleep with whoever you want to sleep with, rob who you want to rob. All we care about is forgiveness. Nobody cares about the victim. Everybody cares about the person that's in jail and saying free him. What about the person whose life he took? That's why your sons is sassy and your daughters is ashy. And you're going to have to work for the rest of your life because you don't operate under traditional values and don't nobody want you. For some reason, they think that I'm supposed to still be on code. Man, I don't care nothing about your black card. I don't care nothing about your code. What you think I need your dusty black card? The only black card I need is in my wallet. What you think that I care about the fact that you don't even like your own wife? You don't like your own, you a baby mama? You a baby daddy? Everything you did is degenerate. You uneducated. You not focused. Think I care about your little dusty black card? Man, I don't want to come up to your barbecue anyway. It's just a plate full of diabetes. I'm going vegan next year. I'm going vegan next year. Don't worry about me pulling up to the bar. I don't want no Kool-Aid. I don't want no cocoa wheats. I don't want nothing. I don't want nothing from you. I don't need you. I don't want you. I'm only aligning with the people that's going in the direction that I'm going in. I'm an American. I'm a Christian. I'm a family man. Want your black card? I ain't trying to get shot anyway. I don't align with your values. And so it's not about me conforming to you. It's about you conforming to me because light and darkness can't be in the same place. Not conforming to you, not adjusting to my environment. I'm walking bold. And everybody gonna have to adjust around me. That's the way that it is. That's the way it's gonna be. I'm not owned by anybody. Nobody cuts my paychecks. Remember that. The next time that y'all start getting apprehensive and y'all start worrying about what other people think about you, remember where you came from. Remember the God that you serve. Remember that. And even if you go through stuff, it rains on the just and the unjust. Has nothing to do with your righteousness. Has everything to do with your test. It's a test. Everything you do is a test. Don't turn your back on the thing that you stand for. And some of y'all don't even stand for nothing. You need to get back in church and remember where you came from. Sick of these people talking about negotiating. I don't negotiate with demons. I walk boldly and proudly into what it is that I believe in. That's it. End of discussion. Crazy. Crazy people. Crazy. You think I'm about to let people with no profile picture tell me what to do? And then I run into them in person. Man, I didn't used to like you, but I just be trolling. I never, not one day in my entire life, and I've ran into thousands of people, went to different events, hosting. I'm public. I walk around in the streets Regularly. I'm at the games. I speak to people. I say what up, though. Not one time in my entire life since I've been live streaming have I seen somebody that said, man, I seen you online and I don't like what you said. You know what they do? They bend the knee. They bend the knee. Nobody says anything negative to me. And it's not because I'm so big and bad. It's because I don't even put off the type of energy that would warrant that type of energy. And so either the demons move out the way because they know the God that I serve, or they get in line and they bend the knee. Either you coming with me or you can get out of my way. Either way, I don't serve you. I don't care about what you think. The only thing I know is God got my back. And so that's why I walk with confidence. I don't worry about what's on my left. I don't worry about what's on my right. I go forward. And the only thing that matters is what God told me to do. All of this other nonsense, this is extra. Don't mean nothing to me. If I lost everything, I still serve my God and I still gonna do what he told me to do. It don't matter. You can't negotiate with me because I don't care about what you think. I don't care. So now you're gonna even have to do something. You got to do something. Either get out my way or get on board. Either way, but you're gonna move. Move them little twinkly toes that you got. I don't care nothing about what these people think, man. Let me read some of these super chats and then we're going to get into the show. I just had to, let's establish some culture here. This is a new culture. Culture is the thing that we then embrace the most. We got a new culture. It's bag chasers for life. Bag chasers for life. Let me read some of these super chats and let's get to it. Keyshawn, I told you it's going to be a long day today. I cleared my schedule today. Keyshawn says, man came up to my ballot and said, just vote Democrat down ballot and get out there. Nah, we're not doing that. Major Scale TV says, can you tell Brian McKnight that we want him to do a versus battle with Joe Thomas? You tell him. Y'all tell him. Let me see.
Anton Daniels, what's up?
What up, Brian? How you feel? I'm on a live stream. I got a question for you.
What's that?
Would you ever do a versus battle?
So I would do a versus battle if both people had to go live.
So you wouldn't do it pre-recorded?
Well, not pre-recorded. When I've seen them, they're just playing their music. You know, they're playing the CDs.
Oh, you want to actually perform the music?
So yeah, I'll sit there with my guitar. The other person sits there with everything. We just go a cappella, like no anything. That would be fun for me. Because for me, it's not about, see, this is what people don't understand. I'm not competing against you. I'm not. I'm competing against myself. I'm competing against all those hits I had all those years ago. I've never thought of it like, oh, I'm going against Genuine, or I'm going against R. Kelly, or I'm going against that guy. It's really our label against their label.
Yeah. Whoever
decides to put up the most money.
Yeah.
You know, so I've always been like, you know what, I'm trying to be better than I've been. And for my thing has always been, you know what? It's like I say about Journey. If you think you can sing, go sing Journey songs like Steve Perry for an hour. You know why he doesn't sing with the group anymore? Because those songs are unsingable. They're just so incredibly rangeful. You know, for me, it's about what you do live. We can debate who records better, but.
Oh, okay. All right, that's dope. All right, I'm gonna call you as soon as I get off the live stream.
My man.
All right, bye. There you go. He would do a versus if he was able to do it live. That's what he said. You heard it out of his own mouth. Brian McKnight said that he would do a versus if and only if. Some of y'all might need to refresh really quickly in order to make sure that the audio is straight, because that's not on my side. That's on the YouTube side. He said that he would actually do a versus if y'all was able to do it live and he was actually able to perform and sing it. So, yeah, man. Yeah, that's what Brian said. All right. So there you go, Major Scale TV. There's your answer. I'm not going to ask him. Y'all can ask him yourself. All right. Let me read some of these super chats, some more super chats, and we're going to get to. Voted this morning, #Texas. Shout out to Tia. I love it. Dean Murray says, after this win, we need Detroit to become the Motor City King again. We need these scat packs back on the street. Me and my wife going to the polls when I get off. DJ Mitchell says, United Gender Reveal Party soon. Is it a boy or a girl? Trump 2024? Yeah, that's pretty. This is our Super Bowl. Seeing you on my 85 mansion and floor seats. Morning, how do y'all send you some merch? My address is either on my website or I think it's in the description of the video. April, what up? April says, good morning. Today is the day that we make America great again. Let's go Trump 2024. Yeah. Sonia Albridge says, hey, Anton, thanks for the review on my pastor Steve at Legacy Church in ABQ, New Mexico. Let me know how I can assist you when you come 2025. I love your pastor. I think that he's one of the most stand-up dudes ever. When they sent me his video, I said, I got to review this guy's video. He's awesome. He's absolutely awesome. Tell him I said what up. Tell him I said I love what he's doing. Ross B says, I'm a police officer and voted for Donald Trump. Run it up. Run it up. Pookie's friend Ray Ray says, dude ended killing his own friend as well, not just the cop. That's sad. Sir, and we are Pop in Politics, a grassroots urban conservative group out of Baltimore, Maryland. Last month, we cracked the 100K subs, fighting back against the Democrat-led Baltimore City. We are big fans of your work. A shout out to y'all at the Pop in Politics, grassroots urban conservative group out of Baltimore. Tell everybody I love them. We rock with them over here on the Millionaire Morning Show. Aztexian Prick says, I'm so glad as a 27-year-old black man that I am a nerd. I don't play the degenerate culture. This election shows the blacks in a bad light. This is why we are at the bottom. I travel everywhere and it's the same thing. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Let me just double check something real quick. I want to make sure that I get these PayPals and all of this stuff. All right. So let me get this PayPal really quickly. Dominic Muldrow says, today would have been a perfect day to wear that next $2 bill. I sent you. Shout out to Dominic. I love you, bro. You are a bag chaser for life. Straight up. Let me also acknowledge some of the cash apps real quick, and then I'm going to come back to the super chats. Then we get started with the show. Dylan KO, what up, what up, what up? I appreciate you. Dylan KO says, thank you for standing on business. Shamara McKay says, I hope Quentin votes today. Oh, you know I'm on Quentin. You know I'm going to have Quentin voting today, all right? We're not going with anything unless we holding our friends accountable for doing the right thing. Free Thinker 513 says, I live in a well-to-do area in Ohio called Solon, and all I see is Dems in the voting line makes me a little nervous. Don't worry about it. You stand tall. I support the police to the fullest. Me too. Jay Hunter Lee says, a man who sees life at 50, same as he did his 20, has wasted 30 years of his life, says Muhammad Ali. I agree. I joined the panel. Can I join the panel one day? I have a plethora of positions and questions to give. I also learn from everyone. Contact Q, Island Girl Q. Young Haiti says, good morning. Can you review Harley initiated panel on ABL and D1? Hey, I seen that last night. I'm going to call my guy ABL. The best feeling of success says, dumbest rhetoric the black community was defund the police. Ignorant. Just joined the Patreon. Thanks for the early Christmas gift. Shout out to all of the new bag chasers. I'm going to come back and I'm going to read more super chats. We got time today. I've cleared my schedule. Let me go over to the next part of the show. So, Philadelphia DA. I heard that it was a whole show about him. I only want to spend 10 minutes on this. So he said, F around and find out when it comes to causing chaos at the polls and not allowing people to be able to do what they want to do because we want a free and fair election. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
Hey, Hoda, good morning. I'm in Montgomery County, which was critical to Joe Biden. It's a suburb of Philadelphia, critical to Joe Biden 4 years ago. It will likely be no less important this time around. People started showing up here before the polls opened at 7 a.m., and all of them likely know, because they've been told for weeks and even months, that whoever wins the state of Pennsylvania will likely win this election. Now, on top of the in-person vote today, the state's been receiving mail-in ballots, 1.8 million so far. They'll continue to receive those up until 8 p.m. tonight when the polls close. Now, Pennsylvania is one of a handful of states in the country that doesn't start counting those mail-in ballots until Election Day, which means by midnight tonight, they won't be done with them. And if this race is as close as people say it is, there might not be a call tonight. In fact, there might not be one for days. You may remember in 2020, there wasn't a call in Pennsylvania until Saturday morning. But election officials say they are confident. They have more people. They have more machines. They're hoping to get the majority of those mail-in ballots counted by Wednesday into Thursday morning. Now, There have already been accusations of cheating in Pennsylvania, some of those leveled by former President Donald Trump. It came after multiple counties they found what they called suspicious voter registration. Not ballots, these are applications to vote. And counties say that they are going through thousands of them, but the fact that they've identified them is actually a sign, they say, that the system is working. There are also concerns about disruptions in the major cities in Pennsylvania. That includes Erie and Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. And the district attorney in Philadelphia had some very tough talk yesterday. Listen to what he had to say.
Anybody who thinks it's time to play militia, F around and find out. Anybody who thinks it's time to insult, to deride, to mistreat, to threaten people, F around and find out. We do have the cuffs, we do have the jail cells, we do have the Philly juries, and we have the state prisons. We're not playing. F around and find out.
Philadelphia may be the city of brotherly love, but that district attorney made it pretty clear yesterday they are not messing around.
And I like that guy. Let me actually get more of his actual speech before I comment on it, because I have some strong feelings about that also, all right? This is some of what he was saying and some of the additional context behind why he was saying it.
We don't have any deep, abiding fears or concerns. We don't have any reports. I want people to be reassured that when they get up tomorrow to go vote, if they have not voted already, that everybody in the city is working and has been working for months to make sure that there will be nothing tough about that experience and nothing to fear in that experience. But I also want to be clear, anybody who thinks it's time to play militia, F around and find out.
So I agree with him and I disagree with him, and I'm going to tell you why. I agree with him and I disagree with him, and I'm going to tell you why. Because he's a Philadelphia DA, right? The district attorney. But here's the problem. When he says, let me give you the good first. I don't think that there should be any kind of problem with people going to the polls and being able to cast their vote without a problem. I 100% agree that there shouldn't be no problems. There should be no voter intimidation. There should be no issues, no trouble. It's a zero-sum game. And I believe in that we as a people should be able to go and vote without any kind of problems. That should go without saying. The other side of this conversation, and why I don't really rock with what he's saying, is because they gotta throw these little digs in there, and they gotta say, we not gonna deal with no militias. We know where you're getting at, sir. We know where you're getting at, sir. We know that you're just making an assumption that there's gonna be some kind of militia, and this is why I then believe that it is clout chasing. It becomes clout chasing. And I believe that this is absolutely, positively a planned speech and a planned statement to get him to go viral while at the same time demeaning Republicans. This is directly aimed at Republicans. And he will cloak it in the idea that he's saying we need a free and fair election and we don't want any problems at the polls, and we're prepared to make sure that we enforce the law when it comes to people being able to exercise their right to vote. But then they throw little things out there in order to A, make themselves go viral, and then B, also be able to try to throw digs at Republicans, because we know what that means. And so what they're trying to assume is that you are not civil and you are not respectable people, and there's people extremes. And now let's be clear, there's always extremes on both sides of everything. And I don't believe in there being extremes on both sides. I don't believe in extremes on the liberal side. I don't believe in extremes on the right side, on the conservative side. Because an extreme of anything then becomes unpatriotic and it never ends well, okay? The problem with this is that he's all throwing digs on one side as though we don't experience intimidation every single day of our lives just for actually thinking differently than people that look like us.
Anybody who thinks it's time to insult, to deride, to mistreat, to threaten people, F around and find out. We do have the cuffs, we do have the jail cells, we do have the Philly juries, and we have the state prisons. So if you're going to try to turn an election into some form of coercion, if you're going to try to bully people, bully votes or voters, you're going to try to erase votes, you're going to try any of that nonsense, we're not playing. F around and find out. That's what we're going to do. I will tell you that we do have a concern. We hope it will not materialize. We've seen time and again when we're clear about our intentions, most of the bad stuff does not materialize, but we have a concern that there may be people either working in the polls or close to the polls who are going to bring frivolous, bogus challenges to voters. Why? Because this was done in Wisconsin. Basically, the way that works is when they know better, people start to claim Mrs. Jones isn't Mrs. Jones. They might not even know Mrs. Jones. Or they start to say, oh, that identification is not good enough. These are people who have potentially put themselves in the positions of some sort of official status, and they are liable then to try to get into a discussion with other officials. This is the bottom line. Anybody who thinks you're going to play those games in Philadelphia, you're going to do it in bad faith. I got no problem with doing it in good faith. But if you're going to do it in bad faith, there is an election court, there are judges, they have orders. And those orders are going to say, in essence, get out of the polling place. Anybody who doesn't get out, you're getting arrested. That's how it works, okay? So if any of you are on these little Slack communications back and forth saying, won't this be fun? You can have your fun in a jail cell.
So, it's already began. I think that this is going to be a long election, honestly. I don't believe that we're going to experience an election, and we're going to cover this all day. Not just here on the Millionaire Morning Show, but on the Anton Daniels channel and then on After Hours. I don't anticipate, because After Hours is probably going to end sometimes around 11, 12 o'clock at night. Eastern Standard Time, right? And I plan on being all in the studio and really giving y'all the game on what's going on the ground floor all day. I don't think that this is going to be a simple election at all. I think that it's going to take a long time to actually declare a winner. I pray to God that I'm wrong, because I would love to be able to react to Trump winning a victory, but I don't think that this is going to be very, very simple. We've already seen too much election interference. We see people being too nervous. When people get nervous, they start getting antsy. When they start getting antsy, they start becoming disrespectful. I do stand with the fact that there needs to be some order and civility at the polls, but I don't stand with the idea of assuming and insinuating that it's only going to come from one side. I don't know what happened over in Wisconsin. I'm curious to do a little bit of research. Maybe I'll pivot. But yeah, man, I think it's going to be a long week. I do. I don't think that this is, Jay Reed, I don't think that this is as tight of an election as you think that it is. I think that it's 100% red. I think that more people are going to grow red than ever before. I believe that you're wrong on that. I don't go by the polls. I don't go by none of that. What I did my own poll last night. It was 97% Trump, 3% Kamala Harris, with women, men, and all of that. I'm on the streets, all of that. I've been to city. I was having conversations with people on the street in Atlanta just a little bit ago, a couple days ago. I don't think it's as tight as y'all think it is. Y'all think that it's going to be, oh my God, this is a tight election. I don't believe that. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. And so I don't see that at all. I don't see it at all. I think Trump is going to absolutely sweep the blue wall. He's going to kill it in Michigan, Pennsylvania, all of that. I think he's taking Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, every single swing state that you can think of, Pittsburgh, everywhere where they campaigned at. I think he's sweeping everything, honestly. The only places that I definitively think it's going to still say blue is California and New York. Other than that, everything else is up for grabs as far as Trump taking all of that. Real talk. And so that's my thoughts. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to continue on with the show. I'm going to be reading super chats and cash apps throughout the show to make sure I acknowledge every single person. I don't ask for it, but I always want to make sure that I acknowledge y'all. Kajan, say that. Says, hey, Anton, I would like to join your community in After Hours. Please show me the way. We will be live streaming tonight. I don't know if I'm going to open up the calls or not, so we're going to be talking about different conversations. We're going to be covering the election, and at the same time, we're going to be covering popular culture in between, just in case we get stuck. And as any breaking news comes out, we're going to keep y'all up to date on what's going on. Derek Perry says, complaining about the police. When you're 40 plus demonstrates you are still mentally immature. Same people who have baby mamas and can't keep a job and wear chains and wife beaters in a profile pic. 86 Train says, thanks for supporting the police. We support you too, brother. Shout out to my police officer friends out in the building. Pam Ronning says, I got the Holy Ghost, love it. As the Spirit of God give utterance. You know what I'm saying? They don't know nothing about that. AD, I would love to meet you in person since I'm going to be in Detroit this weekend. Are you going to be in Detroit on December 14th and coming to the show, big dog? Talk says, Hank Woodmore, I appreciate you. Big one of Dub says, we pledge allegiance to the flag every morning in school, which it says, and to the republic for which it stands. You are 100% correct. Eric Wealth Harris says, understands, understands, and overstands. Make civics great again. Everybody needs to take that class. She called you a sellout with front butt? Absolutely. You know the profile? Yep. I wish I could wear a MAGA hat, but here in Chicago, I won't make it down the block. Have confidence, my friend. I vote Republican for conservative views only. Trump is whack. Just watch his Joe Rogan interview. He can't answer a question directly. I disagree with you. The media will make you hate the ones trying to help you and love the ones keep finessing your community. Shout out to Keyshawn White. It's MAGA country baby, says Smooth Artist. Orlando Williams says, I'm going to join the Bag Chasers when I get paid. Shout out to you. The collection plate for the AD rants. Derek Perry says that female is not worth chatting with, just like the younger people trying to tell me what it is. What is what when they haven't even left the country or the city or the state, they get their info from their college professors. Talk about it, Derek Perry. Shin C says, what up, MAGA 2024? Tech Coach Ralph, what up, Tech Coach? Make sure y'all join the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, get your tickets to come and kick it with me in Detroit, December 14th. It's going to be lit. I can't wait to be able to kick it with y'all. Damn, I just missed one. Hold on. Let me see if I can get that back. Make civics great again. Corey, Keyshawn, Smooth Artist, AD Rants, MAGA, Tech Coach Ralph. Good morning, AD. Diabetes on a plate. Talk about it. I like that. Refrigeration Devil is in the building. Shout out to you. I appreciate you for the 2-ball. It does not go unnoticed. Mitchell, what up, Mitchell? Says, preach Anton Daniels. I'm on it. Miss Crow T-Shetty, what up? I like fried rice, G. AD was low-key risen her at the game. I see you. I had to do what I had to do. That's why your sons are sassy and your legs is ashy. Quote that. What up, though, Time Dog? Talk your talk. MAGA 2024 dropping this thing off in the collection plate while I'm in this budget meeting. Shout out to everybody getting it in and getting that bag. Vegan too far, no, dog. All right. Vegetarian, all right. Got to be healthy, man. We want to live long enough to spend all of this money. At my new company, quickly became a top 2 driver. I told them I need to be in Detroit. They said, name the day, Bag Chasers. Shout out to the people that's coming to the show. Big Mark, Boxing Savant, says, talk that homie. I don't know why these folks so far away from God. This is good versus evil. We don't negotiate with demons. We just rebuke and carry on. At them broke ninjas. And then Refrigeration Devil says, Anton, don't let anyone drain your positive energy. Nobody can drain my positive energy. I'm going to continue to read Super Chats throughout the show. Well, let me get my girl Mika. Hold on. Says, sick, but I voted. Stay blessed, ADDC is crazy right now. Make sure y'all go and tap in on the Red Cup Talks podcast with my girl Mika. Yeah, shout out to Mika. Quentin says, I voted Friday and it didn't take. Hey, y'all give Quentin a round of applause. We're going to talk about Quentin's experience voting tonight. Make sure y'all tune in to After Hours. It's going to be awesome. And then Kenyana Williams says, good morning. I love your content. My 9-year-old son debated my mother about facts on Trump and Kamala yesterday. He cornered my mother so bad she deflected by saying that he's too smart for his own good. I was overcome with pride and joy. Tell son, I said, what up, though? He's going to be a phenomenal person as he grows up. Let me continue on with the show, and then I'm going to continue to read Super Chats throughout the show. I got all of y'all. I will not forget y'all. We are going to continue to get it in. All right? So let's talk about migrants, because we're not the only ones. We're not the only ones that's concerned about what's going on in this election. Yes, sir. There are people outside, and I'm going to read the Cash Apps too. There are people outside that are concerned because they see this election also, and they're watching carefully to determine what is going to happen in our republic. Don't believe me? Let's get into it. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Spend 10 minutes on this.
Immigration is one of the leading issues in the presidential campaign, and the outcome of the election could dramatically change U.S. border policy, as well as impact thousands of migrants hoping to enter America. CBS News immigration and politics reporter Camilo Montoya Galvez traveled to northern Mexico to speak to those anxiously monitoring the election from the other side of the border.
Colombia, Ecuador, Russia, really? You have migrants from Russia here too? Wow.
Migrants from across the globe come to the shelter in Nogales, Mexico, with the goal of reaching the U.S. to escape economic hardship and, in some cases, deadly danger.
Ahí nos intentaron matarnos y
They tried to kill you?
Sí.
Who did? ¿Quién nos trató de matar?
Las bandas que estaban en ese tiempo que recién ingresó el presidente.
Criminal gangs.
Like many we met that day, Ecuadorian native Rosa Benalcalzar is trying to get an appointment to enter the U.S. through an app known as CBP-1. The Biden administration set it up to discourage illegal border crossings.
The CBP-1 app, for those of y'all that don't know,
CBP-1
is an application that is letting over 50,000 people into this country without having to actually go through it through a legal process. The original process is no longer a thing. They're using a CBP-1 app. They're also flying them right over here into the United States of America. They find the places that they want them to be in, and they dropping them right off. That's how you wind up seeing 20,000 migrants, Haitians, over in Springfield. A lot of people was like, where did they come from? Did they get on a bus? Who gave them agency over here? This is how they did it. This is how they did it. They got the parole program, and then they got the CBP-1 app. You can download it on your mobile device. I've never seen such nonsense in my entire life. You can download it on your mobile device and fill out your application while you're waiting in some kind of border housing, homeless shelter that's being funded by God knows who. And then eventually you can come right over here in the United States of America. And to date, it's close to 1 million people that has gotten in under this app. 1 million. 1 million. So now when they sit there and they lie to you when they say, well, we've stopped the flow of migrants across the border, they've just redirected them. It doesn't mean that they've stopped anything whatsoever. But this is the process.
The Biden administration set it up to discourage illegal border crossings. But the wait times can extend for months given the high demand.
8 meses ya, 7 meses con la aplicación.
You've been waiting for 7 months, but no luck so far. No has tenido suerte todavía.
No he tenido suerte.
Sister Lika Macias, who runs the shelter, says many feel that luck may become even harder to find.
There's a lot of uncertainty here in Mexico right now. Why?
Bueno, son las elecciones en Estados Unidos.
These people don't even speak English, dog. They don't even speak English. At the very least, when I know I'm about to travel to another country, at least a couple months out, because I plan my trips out internationally a couple months out, I make an effort to learn the basics to be able to communicate with the people more effectively, especially when I'm in spaces where it's not a tourist destination. I learned about their currency. When I was in Bucharest, I had to learn about the lei and the equivalent of it so that I'm not getting finessed. And know for every 5 lei, it costs $1. And so they don't even make an effort to respect the culture of what we've established here in the United States of America. They just said, we're going to get there and we're going to figure it out when we come. It's crazy.
Elections in the U.S. That's the reason.
Exacto. Específicamente, las políticas de Estados Unidos tienen que ver con la política migratoria.
Because the politics in the U.S. affect policy here at the border.
Exacto.
Vice President Kamala Harris has promised to continue current policies that limit who can request asylum. But former President Donald Trump has vowed to seal the border altogether, including by ending the CBP-1 app.
No sabemos. La elección puede ir cualquier manera.
Immigration attorney Alba Jaramillo urged migrants to be patient and to avoid listening to social media rumors about an overnight U.S. policy change.
There's a lot of concern about what's going to happen.
They're scared.
They're very scared. They think that the asylum system is going to close.
50% of the migrants here are children. Their parents are desperately awaiting the results of the presidential elections in the U.S., fearing dramatic changes in American border policy. But as you can see behind me, the kids here are just focused on being kids. For the children, there's little to fear. Here, they can learn English and mathematics.
¿Y cómo se lee la cantidad esta? ¿La fracción? Un cuarto.
And enjoy outdoor activities and treats. But parents remain deeply concerned. Are you worried about what could happen after the election in the U.S.?
Sí, sí tengo miedo.
You are scared. Why? ¿Por qué?
Porque haga de cuenta que si cierran la aplicación, ¿qué vamos a hacer? Ya esperamos 10 meses. Y sí es como desesperante.
You're worried about the U.S. closing down the application that you're using to try to get an appointment to enter the U.S. Arely Doral says returning to her hometown in Mexico is not an option.
How did that become our problem? Okay, so at what point do Americans get displaced and for it to get so bad with us that we then are now displaced and we're out on the street as Americans, and why can't they make their own country great again? Why can't they make their own state great again? Why can't they make their own city great again? You know what I'm saying? We trying to fix our own homes. Listen, I know you want to do what you want to do, but I've always believed, you know why I didn't leave the city? You know why I never left Detroit? I could live anywhere in the world practically that I want to. I would qualify from a financial perspective to be able to move anywhere inside of the country. There is no state that I would not thrive in. California, who would ever want to go to that hellhole? But financially, I would be just fine for the rest of my life. I can go to Florida, Miami, New York, whatever, right? I decided to stay in my own city. And I know that this is a micro reflection of what we're talking about from a border perspective. But when everybody was saying that Detroit wasn't nothing and all of that, and some people still say it, and that's cool. I respect their opinion. They can say what they want to say. Maybe their experience or what they seeing on social media is completely different from what my experience is in real life. But I grew up here, and I grew up at a time where Detroit was at its lowest. I used to catch the Hamilton bus down 7 Mile to downtown Detroit, and Greektown and downtown was a ghost town. It was an absolute ghost town. I used to see Don Barton, who passed away, hanging out in Greektown. My mom, I used to come down here with her. I used to visit my uncle. He used to work for EDS. And it was a ghost town. It was an absolute ghost town. You know what I said? You know what, in my mind as a young man in high school, I said, I love architecture. It's awesome here. This could be so great. And I would look at what was going on in New York and in other cities, and I could say, man, we could take this and we could do this. As long as we build up our public transportation system, and we do, like, I had a vision for what my life would be like in Detroit, in the city. And so instead of moving away, we hunkered down. We said, man, we're not leaving Michigan. This is my home. And I'll be GD'd if somebody else run me out of my place, regentrify it, and then benefit from it. Not in a million years. This is my home. I can travel anywhere I want to travel. I'm a visit, and then I'm coming home. And I'm going to pour all of the resources. People kept telling me, Anton, move to Atlanta. This is where all the content creators are. This is where the podcasters are. For what? I build my own studio. I get my own thing popping. I'm going to stay home because I am going to fix my own home first, even though it may not even be my fault, even though it may be the people that came before me, even though it may be the legislators before me. Okay, then that means that we got to mobilize people. We got to make the adjustment. We got to change the cultural norms. We got to pour money into our community. We got to keep our dollars circulating within the city. We got to make our teams great again. We got to lobby for this. We got to partner with bigger businesses. We got to partner with the people. We got to start attending all of these meetings. We got to make sure that we find out and support the police and all of these different things. And even though I may not even align politically with a lot of the people that play their role inside of Detroit, we all can come to a conclusion and we work together well enough. And we all are in different spaces. I may be this businessman and I may build houses on a smaller level compared to an institutional investor, but I got a huge voice because I got the biggest platform inside of the city. Why would I take that to somewhere else? I'm going to make my own city great again. Make America great again is not just for America itself. It's a mindset shift. And so why don't, man, listen, y'all need to fix your own countries. And I respect the immigration process legally. But these people no, dog, no. We ain't got enough for our own cities is going broke. Our own cities is going broke. We can't support you. We can't do it. We can't do it, bro. And so I stay home. My father was born in Dawson, Georgia. My mother was born right here in Detroit, Michigan. His father was born in Dawson, Georgia. Aurelius Daniels. That was my grandfather's name. Aurelius Daniels. Dawson, Georgia. It's still a whole lot of Daniels that's still in Dawson, Georgia. How do I know? Because I kicked it with him. It's still a lot of Daniels down in Dawson, Georgia. My father's father came up to Detroit in order to try to get a job in the factories and make sure that he can bring his family up. He sent for my father and his mother and my father's brother. And then they came up to Detroit. And then I was born in Detroit, Michigan. And I said, this is where my home is. This is where I'm staying. I'm not going to Georgia. I'm not going to South. I'm not going to Dawson. I went down there. I visited my people down there. I seen their cribs. Their cribs is on sticks and stuff. I said, man, I'm not doing this. I am from Detroit. 20214 Green Lawn. Between 7 Mile and 8 Mile. Between Norfolk and Chippewa. Livernois and Wyoming. Hampton Elementary School, baby. This is where we from. This is where we stand. This is where we holding it down. Bobian. Mumford was right up the street. Decided to send me over to Cass Tech. Greatest high school in the city. This is what we do. We staying home. I'm not going nowhere. I'm not taking my talents nowhere. I'm not going to get educated here and take all of my money somewhere else. Nope, I'm staying home. And we going to make Detroit great again. We going to make America great again. These people need to go home, man.
Why isn't it an option to go back to Guerrero?
Porque
Dawson
ya de
is the
cuenta
country.
que hay mucha delincuencia y de donde yo vengo ahorita se puso más trabajoso.
There's a lot of crime and it's dangerous. Y es peligroso para tu hijo. It's dangerous for your kid.
Sí.
Camilo joins us now from Tucson, Arizona. Camilo, are there
People gotta
concerns
go home,
that the
man.
results of the election could potentially upend the current, what's considered lull in border crossings?
Hi, Lindsay. Yes, the short answer is yes. Illegal border crossings right now stand at a 4-year low. They are lower now than when the Trump administration left office in January of 2021. But as you know, migration flows can change dramatically, especially if there is a perception that U.S. government policy will change. And U.S. officials are telling me that they are concerned that they could see a spike in illegal border crossings if former President Trump is elected and is announced as the winner of the election, because many migrants will try to get inside of the country before he takes office in January of next year. If that obviously materializes, former President Donald Trump, of course, Lindsay, has promised to reinstate his hardline immigration policies, including the Remain in Mexico asylum program, to end and terminate several programs that allow migrants to come here legally, including that CBP-1 app process.
And y'all can see Carrie tonight. You can see Carrie tonight on After Hours. For all the Carrie's fans.
You heard about in that story, and obviously to launch the largest deportation.
And then you see all of those people? You see those migrant caravans? Some of them not even stopping over into the shelter. They just running right here inside of the United States of America. So ultimately, they have the same interests in our election, and actually they look at it as a life or death situation, because they question and becomes, okay, how soon can I get into the United States of America, considering that this administration has let so many people in here illegally, versus Trump, who was taking a hardline stance and saying, listen, we got to fix our own country. We got to put our own resources in our own people, and we got to fix the mess that we have before we start to let other people inside of this country. And I'm 100% in agreement with it. Let me read some of these super chats and these cash apps, and then we're going to continue on with the show. People should check out Spider-Man's classic Anton A-Word documentary on YouTube. Be sure to put pro and life before Spider-Man because YouTube won't let me. That's interesting. I had an older lady at the post tell me to initial Democrat on my voting card when she should just have been informing me of the option. Telling you it's bad. Trump derangement starter kit J6, 2025, 34, good people, Pittler, Trump 24 and behind. And they all got the same talking points. Just voted for Trump, Florida for Trump and Vance. Shout out to my Floridians in the building. Lost my boo because I voted for Trump. Well, she wasn't yours to begin with. She was for the Democrat streets, man. I just voted for Trump and voted against children, gender change, Maryland, 45, 47. 45, 47. Shout out to you. Voted this morning, nothing but incumbent Democrats and one Republican on the ballot. Wow. You must live in a blue state, blue city, blue county. My friends all wanted to debate me, but used Kamala headquarters as their reference, or HQ, as their reference for debate, while I use source data. These people are brainwashed. They don't know, man. They don't know no better. Orlando Olivia Landy says, good morning. You do a brutal job with your community exposing the truth. I am a Cuban from Miami, and many times I have those arguments with my black friends. God bless and keep you working hard. Trump 2024. Shout out to my Cubans down there in Miami. Dope community. Desby1 says, Chameleon ran for press, had to drop out. Then Biden plucked her to be the VP. Now she's this close to being our next president. She did not earn it. I voted last weekend, Trump 2024. Shout out to my people out here in the streets. Desby1 in the building. Freedom Care Podcast says, met a guy in the barbershop over the weekend. He told me he gets all his political info from Lil Scrappy and CNN. I told him to check out Anton Daniels. Talk to him. Captain Skid Marks, hell of a name. I love this guy. Says the DA's speech is a frame-up narrative to target GOP poll watchers to boot them out of the building. I'm positive he's telling us exactly what's up. You know what it is. Tang Clan Emperor in the building. Shout out to Tang Clan Emperor. Says, I worked for MCI over the weekend calling voters in Michigan and PA, and it's scary how many people are voting for Kamala just for abortion and hate Trump. It's all right. We're going to show up. We're going to wash that red. Cynthia Haynes says, Anton, I really appreciate you, brother Philip Scott and ex-mayor Kwame Kilpatrick. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and knowledge. Shout out to my dog, Philip Scott and Kwame Kilpatrick. Trump 24, let's go. P. Shank says, Anton, I also believe Trump will win. It's a lot of closet Trump voters, and people have more resources available to research, not rely solely on main media who are Democratic bias. More knowledge says 5.4 in the chat. All voted for Trump minus Eric D. respectfully. Well, we know what Eric D. voted for. I had a 4-on-1 debate about how great Trump is. 3 out of the 4 are immigrants, and one was a Jesus Christ, I can't read that. Another coaching call. Shout out to Totally About None. Static Ren says some migrants left bad reviews on the CBP1 app. Trump needs to recruit convicts and deport illegals in exchange for partial pardons separately. This is why passport bros are winning. Get or get got. Shout out to Ivana. I appreciate you. Shout out to you, baby girl. Let's see. Charles Tolliver says Trump wins. Harris hits Biden with the 25th to steal 47 president's title. Passes reckless. EOs until January. Mika, what up, Mika G says, thank you for the extended coverage of the most important day of our nation. I'm on it. This is our Super Bowl. Elsa Turner says, this is global communism. Foreigners deserve our jobs more than we do because we have American privilege and need to share our resources no matter how poor we are. That's crazy, ain't it? October Bull says, a lot of these migrants are the bottom of the barrel of their cities, lazy and made deals with the devil cartel and are running from what they owe. Alan Trent says, AD, are you wearing your Trump sneakers today? I never ordered them. I'm sorry. Fatal says, looks like Trump is winning Pennsylvania. # key state. I think that he will. I voted early, MAGA 2024. I'm in Cali. Shout out to you. I voted early too, bad guy. Why do they speak about democracy when America is a constitutional republic? Because they ignorant. Seattle, Washington for Trump in the building. I love it. J7. WCD LLC says it's more than just people from south of the border that should be concerned with. We have real adversaries that mean to do the United States harm coming through. I love it. X-Day Cat says, just cast my ballot for the second time. I was led foolishly by my parents, but not anymore. Trump 2024. Ray Ranger Bear says 80 the Democrats are getting caught for fake votes. Snip Dog. Been saying since April, Trump wins in a landslide. I believe that to be true. Let me read some of these cool super chats, and then I want to make sure that I get on with the show. Brandon Williams says on Cash App for a real one. Shout out to Brandon Williams. appreciate everybody for holding me down. Let's continue on with the show. So, Megyn Kelly, Joe Rogan, and more has endorsed Trump. I want to get into this, and I only want to spend 10 minutes on it. Let's get into Megyn Kelly's, a significant platform. Megyn Kelly's speech on endorsing Trump. Let's check it out.
25 years to recover from that mess. And I said it before, the one president I don't want to be under any circumstances is Herbert Hoover. And that was done by bad tax policy simultaneously with lifting all sorts of other things that made it impossible for people. A lot of mistakes were made. But it took.
You see them steel workers? You see them construction hats? You see them people in the back that's stumping for Trump? Pennsylvania is going red, y'all. I'm telling you.
20 to 25 years to recover. And I don't want that happening. And that's going to happen with her. She doesn't have a clue. She doesn't have a clue. And, you know, I just mentioned a name, but a woman who I saw the other night on television just ripped some poor idiot apart. Megyn Kelly is here, and she's doing. Come up here, Megyn. She ripped a guy apart.
Hi, everybody.
I really like Megyn Kelly.
Hey, it's great to see you. Can you believe this guy? Can you believe the energy and the stamina on this guy and his hate? I'm ready to go to sleep over there. He's got another rally to go to till tonight. Let me tell you, first of all, one of the reasons why I wanted to come here, one of the many reasons I wanted to come here. When I launched my show 4 years ago, we had Mark Cuban on the program. You know, yeah. You may have seen he was in the news this week. And he started going on about how bad America's race history was and how ashamed he was of America, and that's why he was at all these protests, and he felt it was really important to stand up and speak out about human rights violations. And then it got awkward when I asked him about all the money he was taking from China. And then he dropped a bunch of F-bombs, and I thought, I really enjoy this feeling of proving Mark Cuban wrong. And so here I am at a Trump rally, a strong, intelligent woman to prove Mark Cuban wrong again. I won't take up much of your time, but I do want to tell you the main reasons I am voting for Donald Trump. Number one, immigration. He mentioned it. And people like Laken Riley. I'll be thinking about her tomorrow all day. 22 years old, killed in Georgia, a young nursing student by an illegal. I'll be thinking about Jocelyn Nungare, 12 years old, in Texas, murdered by 2 Venezuelan illegals. President Trump closed the border. Kamala Harris opened it by choice. It wasn't accidental.
Correct.
She said it would be humane. That's what she and her boss believed. Tell it to Laken Riley's family. There was nothing humane about it. He closed it. They opened it. It was an intentional choice, and there's no reason not to believe they won't do it again. The boys should not be in the girls' sports.
I don't get it, though. You know, honestly, let me take off the rollie. It's going to be a long day today. I don't get it, though. I genuinely don't get it. And the reason that I don't get it is because I see people every day on these platforms, in my comments, on my emails, meet me in person, and they complain about the same things that they voting for. When I asked that woman at the game yesterday about immigration, she couldn't answer the question. I said, so why would you want a bunch of illegal migrants to come over here and then fill up your neighborhoods and take your tax dollars and then to replace you in the voter rolls and for it to be basically sanctioned by the very person that you saying that I'm not voting for because I'm not black? But then at the same time, why are you even talking to me about identity politics because she married a white man? And it's not that anything is wrong with that, but when you leverage an identity politics to justify your decision, that then becomes a problem. How? And so they just completely ignored and they say, well, what about this? And then they be wrong and loud. Yo, why would I vote for my own demise? That is the dumbest thing ever. I don't get it. I don't understand. We have people dying. Police officers were getting shot in New York by illegal migrants. Women were being absolutely taken advantage of. Children were being reported. Squatters was taking over whole homes and they were teaching each other how to do so. Apartment buildings taking over inside of every single state, including Aurora. Why do y'all want this? Why do y'all want this? How? How does it make sense? Somebody justify it for me. Although all of this propaganda against Trump is absolutely false, and I've said this often and I'm going to say it again, you cannot get me to hate myself or hate you enough to actually hurt myself. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. You're not going to get me to mess up my own money because I don't like you. Why would I do that? I'm never going to mess up the money. I'm a bag chaser. Shout out to all of the new bag chasers. If you're not a Patreon member, make sure you tap into the bag chasers. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I'm not going to hurt me for trying to stop you, and you already rich. And no matter what it is that I do or whether you get in or not, I'm going to be poor and suffer more as a result of you not being there. So you're not going to be affected financially and you're going to go on with your life. But I'm going to hurt myself and my children possibly in the future because I don't like you, but I don't like her enough to actually vote for her, but I'm voting against you to justify my vote.
The boys should not be in the girls' bathrooms. The boys should not be in the girls' locker rooms. Peyton McNabb, North Carolina sophomore in high school, slammed so hard in the face by a volleyball hit at her by a boy pretending to be a girl, she suffered traumatic brain injury and permanent paralysis. Kamala Harris looks at her and says, "Be kind, suck it up." And that's what's right. Why do our girls have to face brain damage in order to be kind to boys who want to invade their sports? And by the way, they are going into the women's prisons. She changed the law in California to make sure the taxpayers would pay for their sex change operations. She was not just following the law, she changed
Kelly
the law.
not messing around.
President Trump will stop it. He got mocked by the left for saying he would be a protector of women. He will be a protector of women, and it's why I'm voting for him. He will close the border. He will keep the boys out of girls' sports and where they don't belong. And you know what else? One more thing. He will look out for our boys, too. Our forgotten boys and our forgotten men. Guys like you. Guys like these guys who've got the calluses on their hands, who work for a living with the beards and the tats, who maybe have a beer after work and don't want to be judged by people like Oprah and Beyonce, who will never have to face the consequences of her disastrous economic policies. These guys will. He gets it. President Trump gets it. He will not look at our boys like they're second-class citizens. And ladies out there who want a bit of girl power in this election, let me tell you something. How can you win when the sons and the husbands and the brothers and the dads you love are losing?
That's fair. That's true.
It's not a win.
Maybe it's because it's a lot of women that's on the liberal side that says that they don't need men. They say it all the time. They say, we don't care. We don't need men. It don't really matter. Whatever, blah, blah, blah. They say it all the time. They say, we don't need men. Then men be like, well, we don't need you either.
Young women and older, about the lives of our children, the safety of our children. And we need not get so obsessed with what happens when they're in the womb that we forget about taking care of them once we're here and they're loved. Last point. What I don't want, what I don't think you want, is the left's version of masculinity. You see that ad they did about Trump voters trying to encourage women to lie to their husbands so that they could vote for her instead of Trump? That's their version of what marriage looks like. an overbearing husband who bullies his wife into saying she voted one way as opposed to an honest, open relationship. Oh, wait, I'm talking about Kamala and Doug. Okay, sorry. Where was that story in the news? Where is that story? I don't remember a single media person, not one, who sat with him, asked him about the abuse allegations against him by a successful professional attorney who has great details, who has receipts, who has witnesses. No one even asked about it. I'm not into their version of toxic masculinity or new masculinity. I prefer the old version. Them, all of you, and I prefer a president who understands how to be strong and how to fight. I hope all of you do what I did last week. Vote Trump and get 10 friends to vote Trump too.
That was a dope speech. I like Megyn Kelly. I think that Megyn Kelly is absolutely gorgeous, beautiful, educated. She stands for traditional values. She advocates for men because I think that she also understands that what makes our society and what makes things great is largely tied to the success of our men. Whether you like it or not, it's the truth. Let me read a couple of the super chats and then we're going to continue over with the show. She was spitting. Beautiful says, love to see you cover special topics for homeless, senior citizen, veteran, servicemen, and the disabled community voting. Well, send it to me. If you email it to me and send it to me, and if it's worth talking about it, I'll address it. Honor says, I've never been a believer in this system. Think it's rigged, but if Trump wins and they don't try to hurt him, I'll become a believer. Well, they already tried to hurt him, so you can forget that. Lachunsky Jones says, just got off the phone with my mom. She upset that I didn't vote for Harris. Well, it's okay. Let her leave. Let her be what she'll get over it. She still love you. Did he craps for Harris in 2024? No, let me stop. Just tapped into the Patreon yesterday. Shout out to the new bag chasers. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description, as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Chip Burner says, if Kamala win, that means 304 Life has won. No, it didn't. No, it did not. Alan Trent says, we don't even have to guess if Pennsylvania is red. The Amish have all registered and are making the largest Amish vote in history for Trump. Keenan O'Neill says, what up, bro? Thank you for your advice, bro. And I joined the Patreon. I need some advice and strategies to make the best moves. Magnetar17 says, my Bills play your Lions on December 15th. If the Bills win, wear a Bills hat during the Millionaire Morning Show. The Bills will never beat the Lions. The Lions is the best team in the NFL. And we seen that happen last weekend against Green Bay. South 343 says, had a debate today with my cousin asking questions to see why he vote the way he vote. All he said was Trump bad and said my daughter could be in danger if I vote for Trump. Yeah, I wish he could meet me too. Come up to the show on December 14th in Detroit and we're going to have that conversation. Jamil says, Scott Galloway said the most forgotten demographic in America is young men. It is, but we're going to make men great again too. Trump is running to stay out of prison, it says Keith Woodson. So misinformed as usual. Let me also acknowledge Elise Hall says, for the content support, can you post information when you go live? I love listening. Also, how do we get on the podcast? I love all of your crew. Send Q an email, Island Gal Q, not an email, a DM on Instagram. And I always go live the same times all the time. Millionaire Morning Show Monday through Friday in the morning. Anton Daniels channel on Monday nights. And after hours on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. All right, nights. After hours, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays around 9:30 a.m. Eastern. So same times every single week. We are consistent, but we're going to be ramping it up in 2025. Yeah. What do you think of Joe Rogan endorsing Trump? I think that Joe Rogan has the biggest platform of content creators ever. And if content creators are a thing, then it absolutely is one of the best endorsements ever, and we're going to see what happens. All right, y'all ready to continue on with the show? I'll be reading super chats and cash chats throughout the show. Tulsi Gabbard had a message for Mark Cuban after Mark Cuban said that women that support Trump are basically stupid and incompetent. Check it out.
Trump transition team co-chair Tulsi Gabbard has been on a tear through the country, campaigning for Donald Trump in battleground and blue strongholds.
In the last 2 weeks, she's visited more than a dozen states, reaching out to Democrats who are disaffected with Kamala Harris.
Here to tell us what she's seeing and hearing on the ground is Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi, it's so great to have you on this morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Good to see you. Thank you so much.
So it's been fascinating to see how the Trump campaign is being very strict.
Man, to think that this is the woman that actually ended Kamala Harris's bid for presidency in 2019, 2020. Until Joe Biden ultimately picked and selected the woman that was going to kick him out of the White House is crazy. Way more intelligent, knows how to confidently articulate her points, and can actually answer questions without a teleprompter or a script. Tulsi Gabbard absolutely destroyed Kamala Harris. And people was not rocking with her until she was selected for y'all.
Strategic about how they're using you and RFK and deploying you out to places that are blue, like in Wisconsin, in that Madison area. But you've been with the campaign for quite a while. What have you been seeing, and what kinds of things have been changing as you've gone along in these months on the campaign?
Well, there's a lot of energy building, that's for sure, and it's palpable on the ground. I just want to share some of the really incredible and unique experiences we've had. That event that we just held in Madison, Wisconsin a few days ago. At every one of these events that I've been doing with Bobby Kennedy, I ask the audience, raise your hand if you're a Democrat or a former Democrat. And in almost every event, somewhere between 35 to 50% of the room will raise their hand. It was no different in Madison. The cool thing was this, though, when their hands went up, there was probably a couple thousand people in the hall there. The rest of the audience started to turn around and look around, and they all stood up and cheered and welcomed them and just surrounded them really with love and kindness. And I had so many people come up to me at the end of that saying, I came in here afraid. I've never been to a political rally before. I didn't know what to expect. I'm a Democrat, lifelong Democrat, never voted before. Different variations of this, but each walking out saying, I'm voting for Donald Trump because of what I experienced here today.
Do you see how intelligent and articulate this woman is? Do you see how smart and think about this? Yo, if Tulsi Gabbard was the person that was on the opposite end of Trump, then I would start to be like, okay, yeah, okay, all right, y'all might have a little something there. We might have something to try to figure out. We might have something to try to figure out. But Tulsi is pretty conservative, and Tulsi absolutely stands for what America represents. If Kamala was Tulsi, but with Kamala's skin, y'all might have something on y'all hands. But the fact that y'all lost Tulsi Gabbard is insane to me. This woman can just straight up talk off the cuff, intelligent, knows what she's saying. They should have selected her. And then I would be like, okay, wait a minute. I'm still conservative, but I like her. Not that I would necessarily have voted for her on the Democratic side, but I would have been like, oh, you know what? Y'all might got something there.
You know, Tulsi, when Mark Cuban says Donald Trump doesn't like to surround himself with smart, intelligent, independent women, it's hard not to see that's a direct shot at Kellyanne Conway, Kayleigh McEnany, Linda McMahon, a whole host of other women as well, including you, Tulsi. It seems like it's a direct shot at someone like you.
You know, there's actually something much darker that he is implying there, because the premise of his statement is that he believes that Liz Cheney and female warmongers like her are what defines strong women. They are hypocrites and cowards, because when you look at people like Liz Cheney, she is eager to send our troops into harm's way. She is eager to advocate for more stupid wars, but she and other warmongers like her will never volunteer to put their lives on the line for these military adventures they're advocating in. I just finished a couple of days of Army Reserve duty at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and yesterday morning I stood there on the graduation field and saw a few hundred brand new soldiers graduating from basic training, probably 1,000 family members there to celebrate them. And it was so moving. And I was thinking about people like Liz Cheney when I was watching them, because these are the young men and women who will pay the price, potentially with their lives, if people like Liz Cheney, Dick Cheney, and Kamala Harris are allowed to be in power. This is one of the many reasons why I'm so strongly advocating for and supporting for President Trump to go back to the White House, to end wars, not start them.
Exactly right. The closer you are to it, the more serious you should be about how you utilize those young souls. Tulsi, real quick.
Well, I got a question for y'all also, aside from that, because I'm looking at the dude on the right, and I know that sneakers and suits are a thing, and I know that that's like the vibe. I think I might be too old school for it. Is sneakers and shoes y'all vibe? Because for me, you know, I like a nice pair of, and I'm talking about with slacks or with shoes. I like a nice Chelsea boot. I like a nice dress shoe. I'm a little different. I can't wear, I've never been a dude to wear Jordans or any of that type of stuff with my suit or with my slacks. So just wondering, I like the whole American Patriot thing that he got going on. Just wondering for y'all, is sneakers like something that y'all rocking with, or is that just a fad that y'all think is gonna play out? Because I'm not with the Jordan 11s or the Pandas to go with it. I'm not for it. I'm a little more old school with it.
Quick, where are you going in the closing days? Where will you be hitting the trail on behalf of the campaign?
Dress shoes ain't comfortable because you don't regularly wear dress shoes. Dress shoes can be comfortable if you know what you're doing and you know what to look for. Don't get the cheap ones. Absolutely they are. Absolutely. You just got to get used to doing something that you wouldn't do. It reminds me of people that first put on some dress pants or some slacks and then they start sagging them a little bit. Like, no, dog, them ain't no jeans and you shouldn't be sagging your jeans in the first place.
We got about 72 hours until Election Day. I was just looking at the schedule. I will be in Georgia later today, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, and North Carolina before Monday night.
For Monday night.
I'm old as dust.
Here we go. Well, thanks for being with us this morning, Tulsi. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you.
Thanks, Chelsea.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
No question, you guys. War and Peace is on the ballot. And this trade between the Cheneys and then Tulsi Gabbard and RFK is one of the most fascinating things. And that unity moment she talked about, this is a truly unified ticket.
And I love what she said about the characterization of what it means to be a strong woman.
Yes, I love
how
that.
How they frame that.
That was, thank you. I thought that was brilliant.
I think it's important to point out, like, this is not an isolated thing coming from Mark Cuban. As much as I don't know if they're trying to distance themselves from his comments at all, but I don't know about you guys, but I found it pretty offensive when I heard Michelle Obama and many other people from the Kamala Harris campaign telling women to lie to their husbands.
Yeah, I remember that.
There's a commercial about it.
And that's the problem. Oh, snaps. That's Danica Patrick, ain't it? That's Danica Patrick.
There is literally an ad. Yeah. Like, this is their narrative, is basically
Sarah
that
Huckabee Sanders.
saying but not saying, you're too weak.
I'm going to need y'all to be able to recognize who political people are or people that are crafting policy or working on y'all behalf more than y'all able to identify some Instagram model and some OnlyFans. If you don't know who Sarah Huckabee Sanders is or Danica Patrick or Tulsi Gabbard or any of these women that's sitting up here right now and they, without being able to, quickly see it and not having to look it up or do some kind of Google lens or Google AI search, then that's a problem. We need to know who these women are more than we know who Brittany Renner is and whatever other Instagram model Bernice Burgos is, okay?
To have an open dialogue and conversation with your boyfriend or your husband or your partner, so you should just sneak around their back and smile and lie to them about who you're voting for. I found it completely demeaning and something that reinforces exactly what Mark Cuban is saying.
As though any woman, all women are out there like hiding it from their husbands. No, we're proud. We're voting for Donald J. Trump if that's okay with everybody.
Oh, snaps, Laura Trump. I like her. I just discovered her recently and I didn't realize how educated that she is. But every last one of these women would absolutely run circles around Kamala Harris. Every last one of these women that's sitting up here right now on that panel will absolutely run circles around Kamala Harris, and that's a fact.
All right.
Not hiding anything. What we're seeing play out now is just what I experienced for many, many years. I remember going back to 2016 when Hillary Clinton was running for president, and I was a vice chair of the DNC. I resigned so that I could campaign against her and warn the American people about how dangerous she would be as commander-in-chief. And over I got asked by people in the media, people in the party leadership, how dare you, as a woman, not support this person who could break through the glass ceiling and be the
Gender
first female
politics,
president?
identity politics.
And my response to every person who asked me this question is, I'm offended that you're reducing me and my intelligence to my body parts.
Somebody said, why are conservative women the hottest? Because they know how to think effectively for themselves. They're not dumb, but at the same time, they choose to lean into the thing that's best for the American people, and they actually celebrate men. It is. It's very attractive to see intelligent women stand for the thing that's right for the country. It is. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is Tulsi Gabbard. I am a fan of Tulsi Gabbard and Sarah Huckabee Sanders and Lord Trump and even Danica Patrick. I think that all of those women are absolutely stunning and phenomenal. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to go over into another part of the show. JR says, make America masculine again. I agree with that. I'm rocking with that. Rich Whip says, 2024 Vance 28, make America great, not emotional. I'm with that. Skinny Boy Django Morrison says, just found out that my absentee vote is not going to make it in time to my house in time, so I'm having to drive from Houston to Dallas just for me to vote. I'm voting for Trump. I was tired, boss. It's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. I love it, though. Let's get there. King Stennis says, I got the super sticker for you. Thank you, King Stennis. Green Monster is in the building, says, get every wall jumper out and the children, too. No more giving legal status to their kids. I agree with that. You should see Tulsi in her army uniform. Y'all so lusty. People have their feet issues and need some sneakers. Oh, get some orthotics and put them Florishams on. First time Danica Patrick is voting. Wow, I didn't know that. Jay Denoir 89 says, I rock Chelsea boots with my suits. In my opinion, only fatherless singer with Obama raised boys would desecrate a suit with a pair of Jordans. Sorry, MJ. I agree, bro. I can't do it. I can't do it. All right. Let's move over into the next portion of the show. I want to get into the money. The money, but we still stay in politics, all right? Why most United States of America states? Why most United States of America states? I don't know about that. Why most states in the United States of America is going broke? There's over 27 states that's operating at a deficit. Most of them are liberal, and a lot of them are on the pathway to bankruptcy if they don't do something differently. Let's talk about it. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get into it.
State governments in the U.S. are running out of cash.
After meeting our obligations, we have very little money left.
One count suggests that 27 states lack the necessary funds to pay their bills. The problem is most prominent in states like Connecticut, New Jersey, and Illinois.
Not only city of Chicago, but state of Illinois is running straight into a brick wall in terms of its finances. The city of Chicago is facing $1 billion deficit. The state's facing a massive deficit while also needing to bail out things like the Chicago Transit Authority. Chicago Public Schools is asking for a bailout. The state cannot afford these things.
States received about $800 billion from the federal government to kick off the decade. That spending obscured long-running issues.
What we're seeing is largely a return to earth from those pandemic surpluses.
You know, we saw a big increase in income taxes. There was really like a bit of an economic boom.
States now are working with tighter budgets as the country's population and infrastructure ages. Even economically powerful states see trouble ahead.
To the degree that the states are relying on federal aid, it becomes a daisy chain of vulnerability.
State governments account for 15% of the nation's economic output, and they employ 13% of the U.S. workforce. So why
is states employing the majority of the workforce? That is so dumb to me. But anyways.
Are so many state governments going broke? And what can they do to repair their finances? State governments pay for much of the nation's systems of education, healthcare, transportation, and public housing. But
actually, it's not state governments, it's taxpayers, but we'll get there. I'm going to break it down for y'all from a C student's perspective.
They receive tremendous amounts of help from the federal government to do that. In 2022, federal grants covered 38% of total spending from state governments. That was a bit more than usual.
During the pandemic, we saw a lot of one.
So, essentially what they're describing to you guys is that the states then became reliant. It's just like any infusion of money, right? It may be temporary. It may be proposed to be temporary, but the states then become dependent on it in order for them to balance their budgets, similar to the cities, right? And so what they do is they get these federal grants because they basically did more borrowing, printing more money, running up inflation and a deficit. And so they then, in the name of the pandemic, started to distribute more funds, and that's how they hired more teachers, and they kept them on a payroll. And so instead of these states actually learning how to manage their budget more effectively and only budgeting for and planning for, even when you get this infusion, even when you get these couple of years of good years, because the federal government is going to subsidize you through the taxpayers, which then raises the cost of living for most of us. And it also puts us at a deficit as far as them having to raise more tax money and more tax dollars, which you then get Bernie Sanders and AOC and Kamala Harris and Biden saying, hey, more rich people need to pay their fair share. No, you got drunk off of COVID money. And so what they did was they knew that it wasn't sustainable, but instead of us having responsible legislators on a state level in most of these places and a city saying, you know what, we can't bake this into our yearly budget. We can't make this a part of our yearly budget. This is an infusion, but this is not something that we actually depend on. It's just like you. Budgets are very much the same. They just get bigger and they get more irresponsibly used depending on what government agency is using it. And it's just like your own regular budget. It's just like you and your regular budget. What happens is you become more dependent on money that you know you can't sustain on. You go and buy cars. You go and do all of this other stuff. You can come in. You go and buy cars. You go and do all of this other stuff. And you know that you can't actually manage a car note on it. You can't maintain your lifestyle. Me personally, I generate a lot of income, but at the same time, I use the majority of it to invest, and the actual cost of maintaining my lifestyle is very, very low. So even if you're going through the ebbs and flows, even if you have a company that then goes through a lull or it may not be as profitable or you make a lifestyle change, you're largely unaffected because you were never dependent on that money in the first place. That was just a boost. In that boost, you then use it to pay off debt or invest in another company or generate more revenue by investing in this or increasing your business. You don't become dependent on the money, and that's why we have to be more fiscally responsible and why we also have to elect leaders that understand how to manage budgets more effectively. Let's continue.
One-time revenue, a lot of one-time expenditures that kind of had the effect of obscuring these long-term challenges that states faced.
The ensuing economic boom strengthened state coffers and increased revenues. The increase in revenue helped state leaders lower taxes and increase spending.
We, you, all of us together, delivered both the largest tax cut ever by a huge margin and the largest increase in teacher salaries in our state's history.
We understand that that's, something that is politically palatable, particularly in the time of an election.
So they use that to market it to you guys to get them to vote for them, but they can't sustain it. And so it then becomes a moot point because they're robbing Peter to pay Paul. They can't sustain it. And this is why we need to become more informed as voters and also participate on a local level because these people are finessing y'all. That's just the facts.
It is something that if those receipts decline, we may see some future imbalances between, expenditures and revenues that states will have to correct.
Virtually every state made a tax cut. In some cases, this is a very intentional plan for states to spend down these unexpectedly high revenues. On the other side, this could really reflect tightening budget conditions and states needing to draw on those dollars to help make ends meet right now.
But the federal funds given to states will run out in 2026 as a cost of living crisis hits many parts of the country.
For too many, the cost of living is too high.
The higher cost of living is making some state leaders consider tax relief. That includes places like Wyoming and North Dakota.
States that do well are North Dakota, Idaho, South Dakota. And what these states really have in common is that they have a relatively limited fiscal footprint.
Many policymakers across the states, they did pretty well managing the pandemic era budget surpluses. A huge looming question out there is around the long-term affordability of the tax cuts and spending increases that were enacted.
State governments also have to manage long-running financial liabilities.
There are states like Illinois, Connecticut, and New Jersey. While these states really have accumulated a lot of debt after the great financial crisis, the main reason for their weak fiscal stance is the pension obligation.
Roughly 86% of public employees receive pensions. These are retirement plans that provide guaranteed income for life.
State and cities, in order to attract public servants, maybe paying them less money than they would make in the private sector, provide generous pensions. And they ended up getting behind.
Do you guys know how they incentivize people to work for the federal government instead of going into the private sector? It's three ways. It's three main pitches. Number one, they pitch it to you based off of stability. So you're less likely to get laid off if you actually work for the public sector instead of working for the private sector, because they can always go to the well and get more money from the federal government, or they can just tax taxpayers more, okay? Number two, they incentivize you by the benefits, because you usually don't make as much money if you are inside of the private sector, and you're much more likely to have some tumultuous life changes, because the private sector will adjust according to whatever their budgets is or whatever it is that they bring in revenue, right? If you work for a great company, you'll probably do well. If you don't work for a great company, or your company go through something, it's a possibility you can get laid off. And so they also incentivize you by saying that, hey, job stability and the benefits, we'll double match this, we'll give you a pension, all of that stuff. Well, guess what? At some point, they're going to have to manage that so that they'll always be able to pour into that pension while you're still alive and while your spouse is still alive, because they promised you that benefit. They promised you this healthcare coverage for the rest of your life. They promised you this pension. They promised you to be able to double match your contribution into your 403B. And so that's another way that they get you to then buy in. And then the last way that they get you to buy in is they say, hey, if you work for the public sector or for a nonprofit or for a government agency for the next 10 years, we'll put you on an income-based repayment plan for your student loans, and we'll forgive your student loans. Those are the ways that they recruit you. But guess what? Somebody has to come in and manage that budget effectively, even when the governor goes out and the new one comes in, the mayor goes out and the new one comes in, aldermen and city council people goes out, new people come in. They're going to have to manage that. That guy Quincy says, no lie, Anton, I had the best benefits ever when I worked for the state. Exactly. Right? They give you great benefits. I worked for the University of Michigan. They double matched my 401k. They didn't pay me a lot of money, but I got the experience. They also made sure that they took care of me and made sure that they paid for my continuing my education. So they paid for any classes once I transferred over from a community college into a major university. And so I was able to still forego having to pay any money so that I would then wouldn't have to pay my own money for major universities or take out student loans. And so there's ways and there's reasons to leverage that, right? And so you get great benefits, you get great healthcare coverage and all of that stuff. You just may not make nowhere near as much money as you do in the private sector. So you got to balance that out. But again, they have to manage those pensions. They have to manage that budget. They have to manage those benefits. They have to manage all of that, right? And so that then comes with the benefits of working in a public organization or in the public sector or for a government agency versus working in the private sector. That's why I have so much criticism for Kamala Harris and these lifetime politicians that then craft these policies on experiences that they've never had. You've never worked in the private sector before. You don't really know what business owners, you've never started a business before. And so you don't know anything about this. The only thing you know is about being a lifetime politician. You got a guaranteed salary, a guaranteed benefits package, and a guaranteed budget, and you're going to get rich from it. And we already know how they get rich from it. Let's continue.
If pension liabilities are fully accounted for, as many as 27
Somebody
states
says,
lack
I'd
the
rather
money
make
needed
more
to
money.
pay
It
their
depends on your
bills.
circumstances
What
and it depends
goes
on how you
a
manage
little
it.
bit under the radar is that pension liabilities are an extremely expensive form of debt. The portion of the pension that is unfunded increases by 7% every single year.
This debt leaves states with less money to fund public programs.
So we're talking hospitals, we're talking about roads, we're talking about schools.
Take Illinois, for example, which owes money to former employees, but has less than half of the funds raised to pay them back.
And that ain't even talking about the city. That's the state of Illinois.
And
they have a population. You know what? It makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense as to why they're so adamant about getting more migrants on the tax rolls. And migrants for Illinois and Chicago is like an investment. It's a longer-term play and a longer-term investment. They want them to buy homes there. They want them to go to the schools there. They want them to be open businesses there. Ultimately, they're hoping, not guaranteeing, but they're hoping that migrants become a part of the fabric of Chicago because so many people are leaving because they've mismanaged the state and the city so horribly. They're hoping for them to become a part of the fabric of the system. It kind of reminds you of Minneapolis, where Tim Walz is from. I don't know anybody that says, man, I can't wait to move to Minneapolis. They don't do that. They don't move to the Twin Cities. Okay? So what happens is they've replaced the people that then leave with a Somali population that then is basically taking over Minneapolis, that's taking over Minnesota, and they're so ingrained in the fabric of the system, they become a new base for them, which then everybody that's a part of those government branches have to then petition them for their vote and meet their expectation because now they maintain in power. Because everybody wanted to move out. Everybody wanted to move to Florida. Everybody wanted to move to Texas. Everybody wanted to move to all of these places. I'm telling you that they're investing into a population that ultimately they're hoping to become a part of their taxpayer base and their voter rolls and also paying the property taxes by giving them a leg up inside of their communities. They're playing a long game instead of pouring into the people that's already there. And so many people are leaving these places because they can't afford to, nor do they want to subject themselves to the crime and the statistics and the problems that's going on inside of these states and these communities at all.
Analysis from JP Morgan that says in order to actually fund these enormously generous promises that were made decades ago, you would have to double the state income tax overnight in Illinois.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker has steadily kept spending on areas like roads, in addition to education.
Penny by penny, we are still working together, saving important things for our state.
This requires tax increases to balance the budget. But that option may not be available to a state like Illinois, which already has relatively high tax rates.
Using taxes
look at the places that got the highest tax rates. Look at this. New York. Highest tax states. New York, Connecticut, Hawaii. I thought about going to visit Hawaii for the winter. Maybe I'll do it next year. I don't want to do it this year because I just want to stay home. I just want to stay home and work on my studio. Vermont, California, New Jersey, Illinois, Virginia, Maine, and Delaware. Top 10 high tax states.
Relatively high tax rates.
Using taxes to raise additional revenue is limited.
Higher taxes tend to make people move, especially top earners. That's according to studies on states like California.
When the marginal tax rate increases by 3%, California loses about 0.8% in the tax base in the top income bracket. That's actually substantial because it's like 1% of the tax base in the very high bracket, which for the most part accounts for the majority of tax revenues overall.
Moving forward, state governments must respond to emerging risks like more extreme weather, an aging population, and migration.
Migration, I believe, is going to be one of the biggest issues that will face the country.
So now all of the states is also in competition with each other to get more people to move to their state so they can increase their voter rolls. Ultimately, it's going to be a lot of states that suffer. If they don't start to course correct, and if these migrants and actually these investments and people don't start paying off, it's going to be havoc. It's going to be hell to pay. I think that Oakland and Chicago is going to be the next major cities that suffer. But then when it comes to states, I can't tell you what. I can't tell you who. California is operating at a, man, I forgot how big the budget deficit was in California, but it was massive. It was huge. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, let me read some more of these super chats, and then I'm going to go ahead and get y'all out for the day. And then I got to prepare for live streaming and doing different things on the other platform because we're going to be covering the election all day. Yisrael, shout out to Yisrael. I appreciate you, big dog. Thank you for holding me down. Shy2 says, in my opinion, only businessmen and owners should run government seats and offices. JP says, have you seen the Black Lives Matter leaders coming out against Kamala? I haven't. Y'all got to send me that. And then, let me make sure I get this other one. YG Society says, I have a feeling Lauren Trump will run for president in 2028. I don't think so. I think that J.D. Vance is going to run for president in 2028. But we'll see. Listen, y'all, I think that this is the greatest show on earth. You guys are the greatest audience on earth. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, and get your tickets. Come and kick it with me in Detroit, December 14th. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to kick it with you guys. It's going to be me and my friends, and I'm going to make sure that I add value into your life, and I am the same person online as I am in person. I love you. I appreciate y'all. Let's stay up to date. Get out and vote. After hours tonight. I love y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.